Welcome back to Stationeers. This is episode 9 of my playthrough of EUROPA in October 2025. And I have achieved a lot already, but there's still also a lot ahead. I need an advanced furnace room, the advanced alloys, and well, maybe I'm gonna deal with rocketry, who knows. I want to place some more deep miner stations, and I don't know, there's tons of details that usually emerge. So, for example, here we have a new annex that I will use for lockers. Locker from Hocker. To store stuff. So in the middle we will have some recycler and a centrifuge, because of all the garbage that I've printed or that came with the lander. And the lockers were here before, but then I thought it's just too disorderly, not enough space, so I want to solve that once and for all, in quotation marks. Let me show you the rest of the station before we start with stuff. This is not yet dedicated. This was the original entry. By now it's a pretty fast airlock, but still not programmed, so that's still ahead. Was also still ahead is fuel mixing. Another airlock. And this just, you know, some light so it looks more neat. And I want to have more of these. And for that we need power. I have some power here that's enough for the main station with its printers and its logic room. And the greenhouse, which doesn't have any windows, because since I'm playing a 200-minute day-night cycle, while the plants stay on 20-minute day-night cycle, they need to be protected. As we can see, sadly, it's currently day, because the lamps are on. So that's hanging from those 4 batteries, 2 which are fueled by the wind. But this part here is not being powered by that. These 2 electric centrifuges and the deep miner. There could be 2 deep miners here, but I think my output is good enough. Here we have already a big ingot, and how much stuff do we have here? 4! I really don't need 2 deep miners here currently. I mean, I have way more iron than I can currently use, so yeah. And here we have the new power supply. Really brand new. It's 1.5 episodes old, I guess. Or it's only like, I don't know, let's say 20 minutes old when it comes to actual playtime that it is complete. And it outputs about 5 kilowatts, which is actually not much if you think about it. It's only during the day, so I'm considering to expand it, but not now. First, let's see how we fare, and let's do something else also. And here we have the power room, the new one, emerged at the same time as the solar panel room. There's nothing in here yet, and there shall be more lights, and they should be looking like this, like it's more like a technical room, more like a maintenance room. There is no reasonable atmosphere in here. We have minus 128 degrees. It was minus 145-ish, and all of that warmth that had come from these batteries actually. Yep, they have quite the waste heat. And from the transformer, of course. I don't know if the cables have waste heat, I would assume not. So currently we're consuming 1.1 kilowatts and we're producing nothing. Well, not a surprise. Another fast airlock. And then we're back in normal atmosphere. And I would like that to be displayed here, you know, that we don't have to whip out the tablet the whole time, every time. I would like to have a sense of smell in this game for more immersion and for more convenience. And then if something changes about the atmosphere, I will feel that. I mean, one of the most fun aspects of Stationeers definitely is the atmospheric system. Not just pipes and such, but the room in which you stand. I mean, I don't know, depending on who's listening, but in principle, we, the Stationeers players, are of course used to that after some time. But isn't it so that this is the first game that we ever played where whatever you put here in the air, where you can actually put something in the air, where the air can actually change, it can get warmer, colder, there can be an air mix, and all of that needs to spread out. where a new hall that we build, like this one over there, will first be super cold and we need to heat it up. And that brings me to the topic. I need to make some flares. Oh. So this is already automated nicely. When I turn this off, it will spit out what it has and then turn off itself. Same for the other 3 manufacturers, except for the toolmaker, because, I mean, so far I have only used it to actually make tools. Now I'm using it to make these things. And, I mean, the thing is, how many tools will I make? Can I at some point dismantle this thing? Well, there's certainly some things in here that, well, not many though, huh? Oh wait, you can make explosives with this thing? I thought you need the security printer for that. Oh, the demolition charge. Okay, yeah, right. The security printer is for deep mining. Actually, this stuff here, I don't know what the demolition charge really does, but shouldn't it then also be in the electronics printer? I took a screenshot for after. Oh, he complaineth again. When do I not? Hey, it has brought us a few things. For example, we can right-click teleport items between our hands and the inventory. That was because I had this idea and said, hey devs, could we not do this? And so forth. Some bug fixes were certainly also implemented because of this, but anyway. Here is my little oxygen station, which is also fully automated, and I can also use it for other stuff. For example, here we have a canister with very little pressure. That's good, because we want to make sure that it doesn't potentially explode. And it has only nitrogen, and I made that with this thing. All I needed to do was put in the nitrogen filter. This pipe segment here is always evacuated automatically. And let me show you how it works.
Air tank critical.
And whatever canister you put in here, that will then, I mean, it will detect what canister size that is, and it will also protect from overpressurization. We can just demonstrate that by putting this one in here. You see, it just emptied that. Now we have some pollutant in there, basically. Actually pollutant also, because there's a slight bit of pollutant here in the air, and that is my waste tank. So I open that in the station to get rid of whatever's in there. And so it is now a bit soiled, basically. Oh, there's no pollutant in there? Oh, that's weird. Okay. Anyway. So if I take the, where is it? Oxygen canister, you might think now it gets polluted. No, it doesn't, because this pipe segment, like I said, was evacuated. But what happens now, as we have this super full canister, if I take this out, it has 64 liters volume. This one also 64 liters, and this one pipe segment has 10 liters, or maybe 20. I'm not sure if this round the corner kind of thing also counts. I think not. Oh, we can actually measure that, yeah. 10 liters. So 10 liters, if I swap these out, then the gas in here will spread out a bit, and so forth. Let's just do it. Overpressure. But now, no longer overpressure. Never mind. So it did not apparently take any damage. I mean, it's still useless in this mixed form. I would have to empty it, and we can do that too. Now we're in cleanup mode. We just kill the music. So in this way I could get rid of any, in quotation marks, pollutant, and then fill it with whatever gas I choose. Pretty convenient station. Yep. I mean, this was wholly unnecessary. Come on, you know you want it. Yeah, it's pure. So this thing protects from overpressurization. As long as it has power, it would even protect us from this. If the station gets hotter and the pressure in there therefore rises and therefore reaches some threshold, it would also then pump that empty. So it's a completely safe station, you could say. And very contained. I mean, the chip isn't here. It is here? Oh. Alright. Oh, well, let's take a short look at the source code then. Even though that may be annoying, but I'm sorry. I mean, I'm currently serving like, let's say potentially 500 viewers in the next, over the course of the next 4 or 5 days. And I would like to do right by all of them. But obviously that's not possible, particularly because I don't hear them right now. Okay, here's my little programming room. Let's show that too then. This chip with color blue is for the blue surface of the solar panels. This green chip is for the green of logic of the deep miner facility, because I started over there and realized, ah shit man, I have to connect those cables like this and and that's how the color green then emerged, and so I then colored this one also. And the power of these two is coming here from this room, because the power of the entire deep miner facility is also coming from that room. So I thought it would make sense to have the chip be powered by that then too. This one I mean. And the power room is powered in turn by solar panels, and that's this chip, so that should also be powered by that. Makes sense. And over here we have station control and station control again. So I have 5 chips running already, not bad. This is a nice trick that the Master Maximus showed me on YouTube, and I mean anyone could have thought this up, but it's a good trick, and I never thought this up myself. Just rename the thing that you keep working on the whole time with whatever will make it be sorted to alphabetical beginning. First entry, because whenever I change a cable here, I mean, let's demonstrate that. Go here, have selected something else. Whenever I do that, and put the cable up again, I mean, there's even just a small network change. But doesn't matter, now it's sorted to the first one again. So if you're dealing with a certain chip the whole time, thanks to the Master Maximus, we now know, rename the dude, like I'm using underscore personally. So what does this source code look like then? It's not that long, given the verbosity of this. What stuff is in here? That is for storm, so ignore that here now, since I'm talking about the filtration unit. Actually, what am I saying? Oh no, that's not for the storm, this is for debugging. So you can ignore that. Then we have the active vent structure, one of them to pump pressure into the filter unit, one to evacuate in case the canister has too much pressure. And then we want to know what it means to be a smart item smart canister, you know, the one with the progress bar. And then we need the canister storage. This is 2 lines because the type and name. This is 2 lines because type and name. And this is 2 lines because type and name. And this, ignore that. Then I'm setting the evacuation. Oh yeah, the one that is supposed to evacuate if the canister has too much pressure. I'm setting that to an external pressure of 100 megapascals, because by default it would only pressurize the room to 101 kilopascals. So if now the bottle would be about to explode, it would explode, because it cannot pump anything. Thanks to this, it can. And I'm setting the input thing to mode 1, as in suck from the room. LED, let's ignore that. Then reserving some registers. The pressure of the canister, the pressure of the combination of the pressure of the output and so forth. Maybe I shouldn't go into all the details. So let's see what this does. I'm reading the pressure on the output side, and I'm creating the maximum pressure value. What is the higher value? The canister or the pipe that's the canister is connected to? That is then used later. Here I'm deriving the target pressure depending on whether there's a canister in there. And here this is when I open the lid. which then forces the pressure to 0, the target pressure. Otherwise I'm going by whatever canister is in there. And here the pressure has been determined, and I'm writing that to the debug LED. So then on the input side, I'm saying I want 40 megapascals pressure, and the vent shall be active accordingly, the active vent. Here I'm deriving whether the filtration unit should be pumping. That can be decided via its mode, even if it's on. That's also what allows the chip to run while the filtration unit doesn't do anything. And by the way, when it's running and doesn't do anything, it consumes 10 watts. When it's doing something, it consumes 10 watts plus 100 watts. And if there is nothing more to be pumped on the input side, then it will basically stop. And you will keep hearing the high power sound. But still, it will only consume 10 watts then. This has been recorded as part of the series at some point. And if you set it to mode 0, so you turn it off, then it will also consume only 10 watts, but then it will have the powered down sound. Of course, I reported that as a bug. Anyway, so, and here we have the active vent for evacuation. Here I'm writing mode 0 explicitly instead of, up here, that is basically, I'm outside the main loop. So, that is dangerous. But this vent is not dangerous. I mean, if it would be sucking from the pipe, what's the worst that can happen? Nothing. But if this one would not be sucking from the pipe, that could mean my station. That's why I'm doing that in every loop iteration, that I'm setting the mode to 0, as in suck from the pipe. So then we are deciding whether to reduce the pressure to 0. If so, we jump down here. If that is not the case, then we're trying to find out if the pressure of the if the pressure in the pipe segment / the canister is too high. I'm not going to go into the complexity of this because that would take me another 2 minutes. And then we just execute it. Yeah, that's it. At some point I'm going to put all of these as a downloadable library, I think, in an IntelliJ project. Once I've also made a video where I demonstrate how fucking awesome that is. And I've been talking about that a few times already in this video. Export, why? Because, interesting. Because I wanted the initialization to run again. Oh look, it turns on and off automatically. What I haven't yet done is set this guy, which is supposed to turn off the entire station lights when I'm far enough away. That would make sense, but light control is complex. These ones, yeah, not so hard to turn on and off. But we also have these ones, which are automatic. And these ones, which are automatic. Yeah, you haven't seen yet this room. Here we have potatoes. Here we have wheat, which looks a bit dead, but that's what wheat looks like. I just wonder why the leaves are grey. Shouldn't they be green? I mean brown. Brown. Thriving towards fruiting. What do we have here? Soybeans. So all is well. And this is the gas sensor that measures the temperature in the entire station, which is then used to automate the station cooling. And that is over here. That is nitrogen, 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 and if they would ever have too much pressure, then it can leak out, but I don't think it will happen. You might think this will not ever happen, because nitrogen needs to be super cold for that to happen. Well, I mean, phase change shenanigans, I mean, ultimately this pipe might cool down to minus 130 degrees, so I didn't want to risk anything. This thing is cheap, so why not slap it on there? And this turbo volume pump, why turbo? I don't need a turbo pump, but I need the direction change, which only this pump has. Pumps gas in here and pumps it back when the room is cold enough. So once there's gas in there, this will be activated so it can exchange thermal energy with the outside. And this guy makes sure that that this pipe is then empty when it needs to be emptied. Okay, have we shown everything? I think so. Yeah, by the way, these charge with 1000 watts per game tick, with 500, 500, 500, 500, 500 watt per game tick, and these ones with 400 watts per game tick. You know, the small one that you have from the start. So if you really want to charge your batteries fast, you need this. Yep. And you need to be wary. If we have some power outage, and therefore the airlock discharges a bit of power from the battery that's in here, and the airlock over here does the same, and the airlock over there, well, that airlock is hanging from a different circuit, so that shouldn't be a problem. If all of that happens and then the power kicks back in, we will have 1,000 watts charging power and another 1,000 watts, and then all the lights here in here, and what we're currently consuming is 1,200 watts, and what's coming in is 1,900. So we could definitely overpower all of this, and the entire station here is hanging from these batteries, and nothing else is hanging from these batteries, but this is not the circuit of the station. The circuit of the station begins here, and there are no other circuits hanging from there. And this transformer makes sure that we don't draw more than 5,000 watts, and I cannot crank that up higher, so that is safe. And there would be a brownout, so some things would shut off or produce more slowly or whatever. But nothing will explode, no cable will die. Alright, let's continue with this then. This was not big enough. There should be some lockers somewhere here. Where are they? Here. So I figured if I put the locker in the corner here, I need to leave this much space. Well, actually more space even. Did I actually fail this again? No. Yeah, that would work out neatly. And maybe I can actually put something in the corner. Meaningfully. A canister? Yeah, but I cannot fetch it then. Well, it could be standing there. Not the dumbest thing to do. Oh, which reminds me. I carried this over here, because this can also double as a storage room. Gold, silver, lead, coal, cobalt, nickel, copper, and fuel stuffs. And these are empty for mining. And here we have the products of the earth. Yep. Anyway, this is what I want to do, but as things currently stand, that doesn't work out nicely with this room size. And I tried to figure out what the room size should be, and so I thought about this for a while, and then I thought, hey, 3 by 3. But I had figured it out wrong. And so I will not trust myself with this again. Instead, I will just go by iterations. So now I have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That turned out to be too small. Here we have 1, 2, 3. Now I want to make it a 5 by 5. Yep, that's the next thing on the agenda. Here we go. So locker would be here, and then here was the edge. That would be where it stands then, and that is like one step from the... Oh, come on. One step from the wall. This is the wall, this is one step from the wall. So yeah, the room is too small. I have the dynamite sticks with me, I mean the road flares, because I need to heat up the outer atmosphere. Can't just let it in here like this. Network analyzer can go back. I use that to check if my solar panel room was properly cabled up, because that's a lot of cables, so checking all those manually does work, but reliably it works with a cable analyzer. Because then you can just count the amount of devices. And which devices. Okay, so we need some walls and some foundations. We have foundation material and that other stuff for the foundation material. I will need glass. We have 30 glass, that should also be enough for this. In other words, we can just do this now. What dost thou say, mobile phone? One moment, please. Hello dear station builders, welcome to another episode of Stationeers News. It's 2025, October the 20th, and well, yesterday or 2 days ago I was showing that Mars and Moon were now swapped, and I was wondering, what are the devs now up to? What is the next thing they want to do? I think now we got an inkling of what that may be. They just released a new version. I couldn't yet download it, but the beta changelog you see on screen is showing that it is multiplayer focused. Saving reinstated when someone leaves on dedicated server. That was not the case for a while. Fixed when no start location was selected on dedicated, it could default to all players spawning randomly. Not good. Fixed dedicated server error on starting new world. Added random option to start location. When selected, each player that joins will be spawned at the random start location from the list of authored start locations. So when you can select now where you start on the moon, this random mode for the dedicated server would mean that new players start on one of those locations randomly. Added brutal per player start conditions. Each player that joins will spawn with their own brutal supplies. Interesting. Is that... okay, I don't know, let's not go into this. Refactored start locations to be serialized on a per player basis from being a world setting. So it's not world setting level where they start, but per player somehow. I don't know exactly what this means. Is this when you have died and you respawn and there's no spawn point set, then you will start in that location where you had started in, even if that's far away from whatever station? Fixed an issue where players or items could spawn in before the terrain had generated. That would be bad, if you land in lava then. Updated translations. Big thank you to all the community members involved in helping localize Stationeers. So there's apparently a GitHub where the people can contribute with translations. I had no clue. I mean, I've been with Stationeers for 2 years now, slightly more than 2 years, and I didn't know that there was a GitHub, a place where everybody can basically contribute to the translations. That, I think, is good to know, isn't it? I think we should keep that in mind. Added comprehensive Japanese translation provided by community member Junin. Okay, let's continue. Pop. Okay, I have foundations, walls, no flat walls. I don't need flat walls for this one. Flat walls are for decorations. I need actual walls. And this and that and plastic sheets. 21 could be enough, not sure. Oh, there's more. The building beginneth and half an hour into the actual video. So it needs to be a 5x5. Will I grow it in this direction? Where the front is here? Or will I grow it in this direction? Where we have this nice corridor kind of thing going on. One, two, three, four. I just got used to using frames as foundations for every station floor. It's a bit annoying because then you cannot build a second floor. I mean, here I did to keep the lander around, which is also a beacon, then to protect it from storm. There's no atmosphere in this box. But I cannot build, you know, like the advanced furnace or the printers on such a ground, except if I use a cheat, which should not be the norm. I only use the cheat here for the battery room to stack the batteries, because later I plan on having proper large batteries here, and they will have the same volume then. Hey, what am I doing? I need to make this bigger. Of course that had to happen. Ironically, it happened because I accidentally clicked the deep miner cartridge. Huh. I don't even know if a 5x5 will solve that locker problem that I had there. No idea. It's a gamble. Entire foundation laid. Come on. What's happening? Why cannot... Oh, my hand was in the wrong place. Yeah, right mouse button teleport doesn't work right now because it doesn't automatically stack, and I think that most players would agree that it should. Okay, has everything been closed? Okay, then let's light this place up. I don't know if I have enough of these. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Three is actually a bit overkill. This is not enough. Then I will heat up the station a bit, while also turning off the cooling system. How can I turn this off? Like this. Oh, I still had some flares. How many? 2. Okay, let's just burn those 2. Oh, and by the way, the plants, they don't need to get it this warm. You can just protect them from these shenanigans. And then I can break and open the walls, and then we will see. It's actually pretty cool to have this surrounding room that is lit while this place is entirely dark. Yeah, and I have actually now made a plan, not exactly the date, that's not how I operate, to make this video that I mentioned, where I would just take scenes like this, not exactly like this, a bit more stylized maybe, but okay, it's fine. And let them run for, I don't know, a minute or 2 or whatever, with ambient music, and then I would switch to a different such scene. Like, I don't know, some mountain or some nice vista, Stationeers mood, you know? Okay, 31 degrees, that's pretty warm.
Temperature low. Temperature critical.
So, how warm is it over here? 22 degrees. 23. Yeah. I think we can reset this. No, first I have to open the door. Because the room in there might now have heated up. Let's see how much it has heated up. 24 degrees. Cooling would have kicked in with no good reason. Yeah. Still a bit cold. Well, that's like, again that cool part that I would like to
Hydration critical.
have visible at all times. Maybe not just as information also, but also you know, like something that can be experienced. They tried that here with the external pressure, I think, which never anyone really has noticed. Or what am I saying? I don't know what you have noticed, but let's just say it just looks like it's too colorful, and what does this even mean? But it expresses the pressure. This is the minimum pressure or something reasonably low, and so forth and so forth. Yeah, but we need that for temperature, man. Temperature. Still a bit cold, but it's not too cold for the plants, so who cares? Thriving towards fruiting. Let's see what the situation now is with lockers. As far in the corner as possible, and then like this, so that it's not overlapping with anything. Then we move it one into the room, because it would be reasonable, and then we move it another step, because that is necessary. And then I bite myself in the ass. Bite my own ass, I mean. Because I didn't have the necessary lockers to build it. course it doesn't. Oh, maybe I should reinstate the cooling. Yeah, that. I had told myself a few episodes ago and kind of adhered to it that when I build somewhere,
Low pressure.
I
Oxygen low.
wanna use this guy. Instead of using the flashlight. I mean, the flashlight's power consumption is ridiculous, but it teaches us one thing, and the fact that it's slightly greenish cyan colored also tells us another thing. Tells us the same thing. It teaches us you don't want this thing on. Neat. Now we need some more lockers to see if that even works out here. Right in the middle. Okay, that works out exactly. See, the edge is on the right side, so this is the center, and the center is already outside, it's already beyond. And here we have the same thing. So the room now has the ideal size, 5 by 5. I mean, it could be bigger, of course. But I think it cannot be smaller for proper locker placement. If I really want to use all the space, and I want to. Now this will take a shit ton of iron. I wonder if we have enough iron. What I also need to build is something that observes the power consumption of my station. And then can basically alert me when I'm using more power than that's actually coming in. Smoothed out over time. Give me some lockers, baby. While I take a sip. You might think I could have made the room smaller from side to side, like only 3 by 5. But then I mean, this would be the one wall that we have, and then the entrance would be looking like this. One locker goes to here, the other locker goes to there, and we would have to squeeze through the middle into the room. That's bad. Let's not have that. Yep. And now I have the same problem again? I guess so. Not quite. Maybe we could actually do the overlap, but I mean the room is big enough. Maybe we also need some space on the walls for other things. That's what that would be like. I will leave this one here so that I can build an opinion. Nice.
Power critical.
Yeah, I should print some lights. Yeah, this is when the age of luxury begins, I would say. We're not quite in it yet, but it's beginning. Yep. Lights. How much iron is still in there after all this? 340 grams. Oh. I mean, given the high amount of iron that we have available, that's reasonable. Very. Big, beautiful room. And yeah, why not have a locker that has some lockers? That's enough lockers for the day. Power is looking okay, but if I now add like 200 watts or what it will be, 300 watts, I will need more power coming in. So I guess I have to spam a few more upright wind turbines. Let's say 4. Need more copper, need more iron. That's enough. So I go in here, I need to build something. I don't know, if I go in here right around the corner, that is easily accessible, that's fast. If I go in far to fetch the thing that is right here at the head of the room. I can see from afar how much I still have. What material could reasonably be of that sort? I don't know. Will I leave all the lockers open? That's also not nice. Too bad they're not automatable. It's too bad we cannot just say, I'm approaching it, so open it. That would be nice. Only thing we can do is make this a 1x1 and have the door of the room open, you know? There's a wall, there's a wall, there's a door. I approach it, it opens, and inside I find an open locker. Or just a big pile of stuff. But a big pile of stuff, that's not a good approach. Because that would probably render a lot slower, I guess, than if these things were items in a locker. And I don't know what happens if we close a locker. Does this possibly make these kinda invisible to the renderer, non-existent quasi, so they no longer have to be rendered? That would be a reasonable acceleration. So maybe everybody leaving the lockers open the whole time is completely counterproductive. Okay, but let's start here. Building materials go right here. Because this is the room with the stuff that I built from the stuff, so the first thing I want to find is the stuff from which I built stuff. Sounds reasonable? No. Okay, let's do that then. Need more steel sheets. I know I have some steel sheets in this room somewhere. Yeah, let's print some steel sheets. To do what I set out to do, I might need actually some steel sheets and frames. What? Cables? Yep. I want a faster airlock. A custom programmed airlock that I just approach and it opens and I walk through and it opens again on the other side because it should be that fast. On the moon it can be that fast. I made one. But here on Europa it might be slower because there's more gas in play. I guess. Oh, indeed, I need to build first. Oh. It's actually neat that this is kind of overgrown by snow, as if I'm stealing it from the elements. Except I need to place 2 more of these, so oh, it hadn't yet painted this? Oh. Of course, they're new, all 4 of them, not just 2. And let's dig. Where is my mining drill? Waltz. 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Let's dance. actually found some uranium here. Not that it's important, but I mean I was digging a lot, and that's the only uranium I happened to come across. Okay, now we have what? Considerably more power, I guess? That should be enough to install a few lights. What? Did it not come in through this airlock? Out, I mean? No, it didn't. I was actually talking about airlocks while walking out the other one. Still printing those. Wow, I didn't expect it to be this slow. I'm thinking about making a pillar in the center, which slides in all directions. That may be pretty stupid because there might still be shadows, not enough light in some particular lockers, and I mean I'm interested in seeing what that looks like. So I mean we can do this. It's effectively a sandbox. Downside is though I wanted the I wanted an electric centrifuge in here also, but maybe we can combine that. I mean, I could have walls here, and inside of that room I could have the electric centrifuge, and automated maybe even. So whenever I could do it like this. There could be the recycler here, I'd throw some stuff in. The recycler will not spit it out because I will program it accordingly. Then eventually it has no choice but to spit it out, then that lands in the centrifuge. The centrifuge wakes up, starts spinning, and when it's done, it spins down. And on the other side, it spits out whatever that was. That doesn't sound too wrong. Too bad that would effectively mean that the ingots, they are all here. So let's do it the other direction. The centrifuge would be here. It would spit that stuff out here on the floor or whatever. And then we put all ingots in this locker. I mean, not the best of plans, but it's a plan at least. And an interesting build too. How are we looking? Yeah. This looks very good. And it doesn't sound good though. Hang the DJ. And now for some plastic stuff. Of that, though, I do not have too much. 50, 14. Still have to program the display here and the progress bar for the current furnace, arc furnace stuff. I could print some glass sheets. Okay, I need an an electric centrifuge. I believe that is here. And then we need the recycler, which I already have somewhere in this pile. And this is stuff that is to be recycled. So let's plan this. If I want to recycle something, I could access the central pillar thing, which might be completely secluded, something that I normally do not do. So finally I'm doing something new, huh?
Hydration critical.
That would be nice, yeah. And that would be in the middle. The inlet would be in the middle. That's good. Let's just place this here for planning. So this guy would be hidden, and whatever I toss in would make it shred a little bit, and then it turns off automatically because there's no longer something in the input slot. I've done that so many times, it takes 1 or 2 lines of code completely easy. And then here we have... What just happened? Did you hear that too? There was a sound. Or was it just... Oh, maybe it was this spat out against the other. I wanted to make plastic sheets. Finally things are picking up a little, huh? Okay, centrifuge would be here. So I come in, right away I have some panoramic view here and there, but here it's blocked. Yeah, it's not ideal, but I mean the light rather needs to be back here in the room, because the front we have light from here, so, or maybe from the ceiling, who knows. Let's just do that. I think that will work out. Some chutes. Wait, here would need a chute inlet. Curve. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's good that it is back here, because then the likelihood that I accidentally toss something in is less. This one will not take anything in that I toss at it. It's safe, it's secure. But if I wrap this up in a box, then it will no longer be secure. Can I possibly move it a little and then this works better? Like this? Yeah, but then it sticks out. It's ugly. I don't want this. Let's make this proper this time. Once and for all. So, some chutes then. Did I use all chutes up? Oh no. Some chutes. I shouldn't let it just print forever. That wouldn't be good. Curve. Corner. And inlet. I guess this locker here should be the one that I use least, huh? Or maybe there shouldn't be a locker here at all. Not sure, but let's just remove this one. And there could be another opening to another place, wherever that place will lead. I mean, currently it is undesignated. So let's just leave this like this. Placeholder space. Space that is itself a placeholder. Ha 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 ha. $15 chutes. Yeah, that wasn't too much, or too many. Power. What's coming in? Well, winds are currently very low. On one Europa base a while ago I actually had some graph display, maybe we should do that again, that shows me the wind speed as it develops over time. Not sure, does this go here or here? Yeah, that was my oxygen canister at some point, with which I landed, until I got smart. Maybe I should empty that, just in case. Steel sheets. Where will I find those, I wonder? Yeah, would be nice if these guys wouldn't look like this, but would instead be oriented like this. Same, of course, goes for tools, because, goddammit, this just looks stupid and ridiculous. And also, often enough, you might wonder, where's my tool? Where did I put this? Probably you accidentally swapped it with something in the locker when you took something from the locker. Chutes. This, of course, calls for a window chute, except for one thing. That will be a secluded room. But I might open it. Maybe that room even gets a door. Who knows? I don't think so. Then some walls. Which wall type do I use? This is the simplest one. I mean, there are more wall types, but I mean from this kit, because I'm too lazy to look something else up now. Actually, there was a wall with an opening, but I don't think the opening's in the right place. Wall, small panels open, yeah. But is that place? From the kit, flat wall. Oh, I have flat wall here. Here. Let's take a look. Who knows? Maybe that's ideal. No, of course not. That would have been too good. These ones are nice and they go with some light designs that we have as part of the kit light. There should definitely be at some point something like this in this station, and that would then probably be more like, yeah, something like an inner space. Like this is where we actually live. This is the purpose of all this infrastructure. That is why we have all this. Okay, which one will I use then? This one possibly? Yep. I could hide something in here. For example, if I had an RTG, and I don't know if some super advanced traders actually sell you that thing. There are two types of RTGs, one for creative, which produces 4000 watts, and one for survival, which produces, I don't know, 800 watts or so. But I have never seen that myself in the wild, but I've also never really dealt with advanced traders. So still a lot for me to discover. Yeah, that looks about right. Here we need some outlet. I don't think I was printing something, huh? Nope. But I was emptying something. And this guy too shouldn't be stuck in there like this. It's very hard to see what it is. Don't make it a dot, make it some... God damn it. When will they fix that? Is that even on their list, on their agenda? Shoots. Let's make more. I do have enough iron. Oh, I need more plastic sheets. Okay, before I close this up entirely, let's first make sure this entire thing runs, and also I want to place lights on it. How much power will this consume? I don't know how much the recycler use. I would just guess 100? 100 watts. And this one, I believe, 100. What? Oh, it's just centrifuge, not electric centrifuge. 100 watts. So we have 200 watts more that we'll be consuming. Well, then I will... If push comes to shove, we're gonna have a few brownouts. I'm sure I'm gonna spot those. Consumption right now, very low. Wait, stupid. 1400 watts. That's still very fine. Okay. Batteries are charging up. Because we had two quasi full ones and then one spot here, so things are happening. Oh, that cable will be visible. No, it won't be. It's inside the wall. Okay. I don't know about the rest yet, so let's just leave it at that for now. Cables. What? Normally I use the round ones when I'm doing creative for some video, but I think in this case the flat corner pieces are appropriate. They also fit the design of the lockers, which also have this angle diagonal thing going on.
Power critical.
Righty, this is actually a station building finally. It's a good thing to know that you can't stop being a loser, at least in some regards. What am I saying? That you can do that aspect by aspect. So yet another front to conquer. Oh. Almost 3000 watts. Looks very promising. Now it only needs to run. How do I get power here? Is this the way to go? I would say so. Wait a minute. Why do we have this cable on the outside? I mean, this looks like it goes into the airlock. And into the entire station. But where's that cable coming from? Is it this cable by chance? I get the feeling that this cable out there doesn't belong, or something's cabled up horribly wrong. Where is the network analyzer? Let's take a look. So this cable, what is the stuff that is connected to it? All of that is legitimate indoor stuff. Yeah, but why is there a cable here? Where does it go? I have to open the floor to find out. Or rather, let's look at the cabling of the airlock itself, if I can spot that from here. Ah, here we go. Composite door airlock 1, that's just another composite door that I have named airlock 1. Area power controller, of course. Console for the airlock, gas sensor, powered vent large. Yeah, that is properly cabled up. Why the fuck is that cable coming in there? At the bottom. Does that make any sense? Did I possibly plan something that never came to fruition? Ah, I see. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. It goes to the light in the airlock and to the battery charger. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this guy stopped printing. We have 50 cables and more 50 cables and some more cables. I wanted to create more plastic sheets, I think. I think so. We have 49. Okay, that's not immediately screaming for more plastic sheets. 37 glass sheets, neither. We have could use a few more walls and a few more flat walls for decoration. Let's start with flat walls. And on the other side we can print heavy cables. Cable, 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 and it cannot cross through this thing. I could go along the ceiling. I think that's what I should do. Yeah, that makes sense. I will use this side because that is already so special when it comes to cabling. Because then we have a pattern. Actually, oh man, we can actually hide in here. Now imagine if we had, not necessarily in Stationeers, but imagine this would be some space station thing where there is possibly some alien thing going on, like in Alien Isolation, and we're hiding, and we could actually crouch, which we stupidly can't in here, but okay. So you break open a wall and you hide in there? Well, we're gonna have that. It will come. I know many things look to be in shambles right now, but that will pass. The ultimate ruler of reality is will. And what is it that mankind wants? That's the only question you have to ask. And the rest is time. And effort. And stupid decisions and death and suffering meanwhile. In the meantime. Unnecessarily so. Because it's stupid and stupidity can be avoided. I know, this sounds weird, but it can. And spammers, they don't need to spam. It's not a force that overcomes them, that compels them. They're just evil pieces of dogshit assholes, that's all. Yeah, look at that. I mean, it's not ideal, but it works already. Even here. And this side, well, we don't have a lamp here yet. Oh, maybe I should turn this off for this evaluation. Yeah, and I mean, can you see now? This is what Rocket said when he said that if there would be shadows, then he likes them to be really dark. I get that. This is an example of that. I mean, it should be slightly brighter because of all the reflections here, but in principle, yeah, I get that. It's beautiful. But there are situations where, for example here, that shadow should not be this dark because there's a flood, an ocean of light around. It would be great if somehow, and I have no clue if that is possible, if somehow Stationeers would be aware what this field, roughly the brightness of this field, and this field, and this field. Because then, just like in Minecraft, some transition brightness could be calculated. Every point could have its brightness, and that would then be the ambient brightness that is underlying the entire rendering, which you see here, for example. That is the ambient brightness. And where it's bright around, that would then be brighter, and then it would fade away. And that would be the solution to that stupid black shadow thing without fucking with Rocket's vision. Because those dark shadows would still be there, where they belong. If only. Hey, wait. I have decided the color code for fuel in my playthrough is red. Okay, so these are cabled up now. They need to be logic controlled now. I wonder if I should name them, if that's necessary or not. Let's do that. Brick? No, recycle? Garbage? Num num num. I mean, the purpose is reclamation of materials, not just shredding shit. So reclamation. Let's program these guys. Stationeers. Station 0 cooling arc furnace. Import. Okay. Define recycler, and what is that? That is the recycler reclam. And then we need the recycler in general, which is structure recycler, I guess. Structure recycler. And then we have the centrifuge. Whoops. Centrifuge in general is just structure centrifuge, I think. So now let's program this. This is super easy. I mean, okay, for those who have just turned on the television, oh, what is this? This is me programming something in Stationeers, and I want to make sure that the recycler only turns on when something is in its input slot, and then it turns off again. And the centrifuge that is connected to it shall turn on when the recycler is... what's the word? Spits something out. So here's the main loop. We have to yield. I'm not going to explain that because it's not a programming course. Jump back to start. So this will be executed again and again and again. What is this R0 thing? Not necessary. So load batch named. I want to load a value from a device into this register, and the device is the recycler. And I said load batch from any and all recyclers. You could also just say load, but then I cannot do it. It doesn't work like this. Load batch from all the recyclers that are installed. It's only one currently, but anyway. No, I want to load from any and all recyclers that are installed that happen to have this name also. And what do I want to know? I want to know if their slot 0, the input slot, is occupied. Since it's a batch statement, I have to tell the computer what to do if there would be multiple devices and thus multiple values. What should it do with them? I'm saying add them up, but that's not going to happen. Now that we have this, I can tell the recycler be on. So I'm writing batch named to the recycler with this name that it shall be on, depending on whether there's something in its input slot. So much for that. Now we do the same for the centrifuge, which I don't know if that actually works like this, but let's just do it and then we can later debug. I mean, it's not like I'm dealing with my cooling solution here, which could become ugly. So loading batch name slot into R0 from the centrifuge. Input slot, I assume, I mean, this is usually the way it is, it's very systematic. Here we have slot 0, that's the import slot, export slot I'm not interested in, and centrifuge. There we have the same thing, import slot, export slot. Okay. And the slots I can read whether they are occupied. And so forth. Yeah, that could be it. Now we export that here. Always check whether you're exporting to the right device. Any bugs? No. Oh. Oh! What the fuck is happening? The batteries have run out of power? Dude, we have a little emergency here. And that's interesting, this term emergency, isn't it? Like, emergence. It is something that came to be from circumstances. It doesn't actually mean that things are dire. I mean, when we just look at the word itself. Though it is dire, why do we not have any power here? How has this entire thing already run dry? Have we really consumed that much power? No power in any battery. Wow! I need to expand the solar system, and I need more batteries. That's what it is. So this is the power coming in. It's night, so nothing. And it's saying required. Wait, what am I saying? Yeah, this is the power being consumed, and what's required currently is 4,000 watts. Oh, that explains it then, because if what's coming in during the day is 5,000 watts and we haven't yet lived through a full day of this now full solar panel haul, and we're consuming 4,000 watts at all times, and while during the night we have this situation, then yeah, then it will run dry, which it just did. Not good. And we need 36 megawatts. Which cable is this? Is that the cable that's coming from the solar panel room? Yeah, okay, that's what's coming in. Maybe I should make this thing blue. That has not yet been decorated. And that thing? I don't know, red? Or... So that's coming from the solar panels, and the batteries would like to have 36 megawatts, thank you. Of course, we're talking megajoules here, and that in turn is also not necessarily true, because joules, watts is joules per second. 1 watt is 1 joule flowing through a cable or whatever per second. But the game has a game tick at speed, a simulation speed of half a second, roughly. And yeah. So we have no power. What's the next step then? I would say, I'm not sure. Should I shut down the facility here for now? Yeah, it makes sense. That's wild. We have no power here, and this means that these airlocks are now slowly running out. That's what's happening. 10 watts, 10 watts, and the cold. Maybe I should just flip this around so it's not... Oh wait, it's still the same cold almost. The room isn't exactly warmer. Huh, that's awkward. This one can be flipped around. On the inside we have a vacuum. That might be a bit more friendly to the battery. Huh. Well, we need more solar panels. So maybe I should start printing those then. And of course I need to make another solar room, or I need to expand this one. Oh well. And then we have to evacuate that. Yeah, an emergency. Solar panels. Yeah, the age of luxury hasn't really begun, but we're getting there slowly. I should also maybe install something so that I can transfer some power from this facility to the other, in case of indeed an emergency. And that is something that doesn't exist yet, and maybe that's something I should install now that we have the opportunity to also test it. How could I do this? I have a heavy cable over there, and I have some thin cables over here. That's fine. It would then... that's not fine. I would
Hydration critical.
like to use these cables, I mean from this network here, not from that one, from the weaker one where there's stuff already being consumed. I would like to draw the full 5 kilowatts that I can draw. I mean, I can draw more actually. I can use a large transformer. But for that I would have to pipe those cables all the way over to the other side. Because I mean, at night we have no light coming into the solar system, but the wind is always kind of blowing, and sometimes we might. Oh, so that's a good idea. Yeah, baby, it's a good idea. Let's do that. Why? Because sometimes there are storms, and they might give us so much power that these ones are full. That would be good then to use that power to pipe it up to the other station. Hello, and the controls for that should actually be over here. So. Copper. A new project emerges. I mean, what you need to do when you record an episode like this or just want to do a Stationeers session is have an idea of what you want to do, a rough idea, you know, like continue with this room. The rest will come. You will be busy. So what do we want? We want a transformer, and we have the transformer small and large, and there's also medium. Let's look at the transformers. The transformer medium is made from using two small ones, I believe. Oh, three ones, okay. And what's the maximum setting? 25,000 watts. The large one can be set to 50,000 though, and I would like that. Only where the fuck would I place it? Because I mean, maybe I can move this cable over a little. I mean, I can walk over the cable, but I cannot walk over the transformer. The transformer could be in this corner, maybe, and then I have to rearrange this stuff a bit. But anyway, let's make one. Why is the search so retarded? You are retarded too, if you're reacting like that. Transformer large, and I will not move from that position. Now call your minions and wreak havoc, because you are a parasite and you know that, but you don't want to reflect upon it. Transformer large. Well, I could actually test whether this works now, huh? I mean, at least the first part. Actually, both parts, both is possible. I just have to flick that switch often enough that it will eventually spit that stuff out. Oh! See, it turned off immediately. I was saying, oh, because I thought that maybe the carefulness of this guy was kind of being translated to this one. That would have been cool, but I can understand that they don't do this. Step 1, complication. Step 2, what if the chute network is more complex with some forks and such? Here we go. Okay, it's kicking in. And it starts turning. And it will process 5, and I guess it will output 5 iron. And once it's done, these weird effects here are, for whatever reason, because of temporal anti-aliasing. Something's moving, and therefore I don't see how that makes sense, but it's the way it is. Interesting, like, and then we get this upwards curve because it is going upwards again behind that. Now it's weaker. Now it seems stronger. Oh, oops. And when it's done, it should spit that out and it should shut off. So, looking good. But we'll leave this open until we're done.
Power low.
Yeah, transformer. What do you have? Oh, there it is. We have one solar panel. I need more solar panels. So that's how big the motherfucker is. It would get its power from the batteries. I need a kitchen. Need to cook better food, man. I mean, I'm already preparing for this by having wheat and soybeans, actually. Maybe I should put a fridge here, huh? A real fridge. Not just this little alibi, this thing. Alibi? I'm not sure. Can I eat those? Oh, I can. But they're not very foody, huh? Oh, to see the dance of these thingies. Maybe that should also be a section of that aesthetics Stationeers ambient video. And also an eternal loop of this a 10-minute loop of this drinky water bottle refilly sound. Stationeers ASMR. Not the dumbest idea ever. So, where's the transformer? Here. If I would somehow manage to squeeze that exactly here, where the cable's in the way, it would not take enough would not take too much space. It would not be in the way, if it could be there. So that's feasible. But, can I actually place it like this? Yes, I could, because the input side would be this. It's too bad I can't move the mouse while this is on screen. Anyway, on the left bottom we see the... Oh, that's output? Oh, okay. On the right bottom we see the input. That's where I could then pipe this heavy cable. Where's the power switch of this thing? Oh, it's on the back side. Okay, that's a problem. Is there an inverted version of this guy? No. Okay, so it doesn't fly. Except if I do make things very complicated. Maybe like this then, to the side. But then we don't have enough space because the cable needs to feed into that thing. If I do it like this, it's also not okay because the logic cable needs to get out there. I haven't yet used that, but eventually I want to show the station battery development. How many solar panels do we have here? 4. I mean, 4 is better than nothing. I also can't blow through all the resource. I don't have that many. Ah, the morning is dawning. Very good, very good, very good. Jupiter's over there, where everything is without stars. Stars? No stars. Spookily occluded. And yeah, they got Europa right. The previous one, the old terrain Europa, was actually, well, wrong, because during brightest day, when the sun would be here and Jupiter would be here, Jupiter would still be somehow darker. How? How can it make the atmosphere darker? Anyway, I'm not going to go into... I would like to mention now that I had a discussion with a certain someone about this, and that someone didn't agree, and but okay, that's stupid. I mean, why would I? So, damn if you do, damn if you don't. It should be like this to have access to the front side. And then from here, from that spot, a cable would go straight up through the ceiling, over the roof, down to the other batteries to fill them. And maybe I should have the same thing the opposite direction, by the way. Is that a problem? Would that lead to a short? It might, but... well, that's something to be found out then, I guess. So I could do this, but then on the back side we would have to feed in not the logic but the power that is here. That could be done with some under the floor trick, which is tricky to pull off because everything here is already atmospherized. Yes, this is now English, shut up. Yeah, but I think that's the plan now. I want to put this guy here. What's the immediate next step? Aha, this is done. And has it come out? It has 5 grams of iron in there. Aha. Oh right, I forgot. I need to open it. Well, I could just say that whenever something's in here, the centrifuge shall be closed, except if it's full. Yeah, that's kind of the logic. Yep. And now I want to pause because I also need to go mining, but I don't wanna. Huh? Yeah, so I want to draw it out a bit. So we want to find out recycler, blah blah blah. Then we have the centrifuge. And then we turn that on. And I think the centrifuge, can the centrifuge be emptied while it's off? I don't know, actually. It can. Excuse me? Why can't I not the fuck close this? Huh. I remember having had that a few times. And you're seeing this here, huh? You're seeing this happen. Taking screenshots. So later I can possibly report this. And that is 5 iron. Hello. And where do we go with that? I don't know. Like here. To have an immediate experience of success. So open the mouth wide. Pull back your hair. And then you swallow. So, yeah. So it doesn't have to be on. In other words, the logic that we have so far is fine. We just need to add more logic. What logic do we need to add? I need to find out whether this thing is erroneous. Whenever it is, well, if I open it, it will be erroneous. Man, it makes the logic more complicated. I don't want this. Huh. Well, I guess I have to do it then. No way around it. So, I want to find out what reagents are currently in this centrifuge, but not at all times. Normally I would say if the centrifuge is erroneous and it's currently closed, then we want to open it. The first decision, because I want to let it run full and then I empty it, not before. There's a very nice YouTuber who just, when I just started, hey, Stationeers news, blah, 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 a few minutes ago, in that moment also before I had just switched another episode live, which was waiting on YouTube, and episode 8 is also waiting. I will do that in like 24 hours. And someone already commented, very nice. And we have 3 upvotes, and we have 32, views. So that's 10%, that's very good for such an episode. Episode 7 of this playthrough, man. I wonder if this playthrough, at the beginning, the first one has had a lot of views. Relatively many. Where is it? Come on. There, number 1. Has 2,500 views. And then the next one has 494 views. What? And I wonder if this can become some kind of curve. At the beginning, very high, then it goes lower, and eventually it goes higher again, because the station is sophisticated enough to be interesting, and then more people look at it, and YouTube picks up on it, blah, 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 blah. One moment, have to look at the comment. Okay. So what I want to do here is let's see what happens if I would just use the same logic. I load batch named into R0 from the centrifuge whether it is open. Branch equal to 0 or greater than 0 R0 cent is open. And when it's not open, I want to do some stuff, and once I've done that stuff, I jump to send is done. Is that the right approach, though? Let's say the centrifuge is closed. What is it I want to do? I want to find out whether there's something inside, and then, aha, I see. It's not the right approach necessarily. Yeah, I have to rethink the entire centrifuge programming logic here, because the dominant decision criterion is whether there are reagents in the centrifuge. If there are reagents in there, the centrifuge must be open, period. Until they're no longer in there. Yep. But does that make sense? I mean, as long as there's something in the input slot. Aha. So if the centrifuge is on, which is decided here, maybe I could just use this R0 register, which tells me that. As long as the centrifuge is on, we know that it's doing stuff. But what if, for whatever weird reason that is basically impossible to ever occur, it is full? What then? What happens then? Let me just use some different music, so while I think, you can listen. Okay, let's forget source code, let's forget programming. What is it that I want the thing to do? I want the thing to run whenever there's something in its input slot. However, if it is full, if it's closed and erroneous, then it needs to open. Whenever it is open, it needs to stay open until there are no more reagents in there. So if it is open, then it must remain open until it's empty. If it is not open, then different logic applies. I think we can say that's definitely true. So the first decision criterion indeed still is centrifuge is open. I will though do this differently because it feels, I don't know, cent is closed. I first want to deal with a simple case. So I find out whether it's open. If it is open, then what I want to do is I want to find out the reagents. I know that I will need the reagents anyway. So I will load those first, and we use different registers for this. So now I know whether this thing is on, what reagents are in there, and actually I can turn this already in the logic statement that it needs to be. So if there are reagents in there, so this value is not 0, I don't know how the reagents really work, but I don't care. It's anyway, if it's non-zero, then there are reagents in there, and if that is then greater than 0, whatever this then is, then this will be a 1. So this will tell us there's stuff in there. Confirm save, because I don't have autosave. Now I know whether there's stuff in the centrifuge, now I know whether the centrifuge is open, and now I know where it is on, and now I know whether it is open. Come on. Centrifuge is open. In that case, I just want to find out whether the centrifuge is empty. So branch greater than 0. If R1 is greater than 0, then I want to just jump to centrifuge done, because this block of the main loop is done. I could basically jump back up here to start, but maybe I will have more blocks down here that do different things unrelated to this sub-facility. So, if the centrifuge is open, branch greater than 0, R1 send done. What is R1? R1 is reagents? No, whether there are reagents in there. If there are reagents in there, then we're done with this thing, because it's currently open, so we're waiting until there's nothing in there anymore. And then we close it. So I'm right, batch name centrifuge, open 0. In case that there are no more reagents in there, then we close it again, and then we're done. In the next cycle we can look at this whole situation again and make new decisions. So that has been ensured. If the centrifuge happens to be open, then we will wait until it's empty, then we close it, and then whatever happens happens. And with that other stuff, whatever happens, that's what we have to deal with. Let's read the entire source code again. Load from recycler whether slot 0 is occupied and turn it on accordingly. That works. Same for the centrifuge. Then we are reading the reagents, and then we are turning that to a logic statement, and here we're checking whether it's open. And when it is open, we blah 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 blah. But when it's closed, then we have to do multiple things. If it is closed, then we want to find out, is it erroneous? Yes, we have to find out whether it's erroneous. And it's erroneous when it's full. So I'm loading to R3. I don't know if I actually can recycle one of the registers, but I guess it's most healthy for also our minds when we read this, if just every topic has its own register here. So I'm loading the information error sum. If there is an error, when it is closed, if there's no error when it's closed, then I will jump over a bunch of lines. But if there's an error when it is closed, then I open it and I jump down to centrifuge done. So we jump by 3 lines. Let's see. Centrifuge is closed. Load whether there's an error. Oh, this is wrong. Oh yeah, that was wrong. But I would have been told. Load into R3 centrifuge error sum. If that is equal to 0, I could also do this, but why? This seems more elegant, it's less to read. A branch relatively, so not the usual branch to a hard location or whatever, which would be line 3 in this moment, but branch by 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. If there is no error. If there's an error, open the thing and jump to send done, and then we will just wait until it is empty, because it's the only way for it to be erroneous. It is full, or it is open, because that also means error, I believe. But the open case has been it's open and shut. So now we know it is not erroneous, so it is not yet full. Now we want to branch. If the centrifuge is currently on, then we just want to branch to centrifuge done. But if it is not on, then we want to find out, is there something in there? If there's something in there, then we want to open it. So we have 2 reasons to open it. One is error, and the other is there's something in it. And it's not, I mean, if it's currently still chewing on stuff, then of course there will be at some point something in it, but we want it to be done with chewing. It will be done chewing when it has turned off, because that's the logic up here. So when it's turned off, then we can say, okay, well then open it if there's something inside. Yep. And we will never arrive at the spot if one of the other things, erroneous and such, have already kicked in. So I think this should be safe code. What do I have to do now? I have to branch R0. What is that? That is when it's on. Let me just jump to centrifuge done. Now we need to check the reagents, which are R1. If R... Well, the centrifuge is closed, so I don't have to create a logic statement now that I write directly to the openness of the centrifuge, but instead I have to just tell the centrifuge that it shall be open. What? That was wrong? Did I just replace something? I think so. Let's see. Centrifuge is closed. Load where that's erroneous. If that's not erroneous, jump over 3 lines. Otherwise, open. Centrifuge done. 1, 2, 3. So if R0 is... what is R0? R0 is whether it's on. If it is on, we just jump to done. But if it's not on, then we care whether there's something in there. If the thing in there, stuff in centrifuge, if that is 0, then there's nothing to be done. Centrifuge done. I guess I will possibly have to mute this part of the video. I mean, at least the music, because this sounds like it's possibly a copyright issue. But I like it. I mean, I like the song, so let's just let gamble. Equal to 0. If the reagents in there are equal to 0, just jump. But if there's something in there, then open the motherfucker. And this should then be finally the entire centrifuge logic. Hopefully. Okay. Incorrect argument count line 51. Load batch named reagents. That is whether it's occupied, and here we're checking whether it's open. Okay. Well, it's not easy to test because I would have to trigger it to be full now, and I cannot do that. It's just too much. Oh, why can't I do this? Why can't I just click here to put it in? Excuse me? Do you have to throw it every time? Really? Stupid. Okay, let's do that then. How about the lighting here? Are we done lighting stuff? On this side, not obviously, but here? Maybe, yeah. And on this side, actually maybe two. Wait, no, that doesn't count. But it looks like it. It looks like we can just survive on this one. Or should I put some more lights here? Maybe for consistency. I mean, we need more wind turbines then, I guess. Let's not do that right now, because I think power is currently a bit iffy an issue. So, if I would put the transformer here, I would have to move the cable 1, 2 to the left, 2 to the left. And I need more oh no, I have more cables. In the locker. What? I was about to recreate the entire thing. Lol. Okay, if I now place a transformer here, which should now be at least possible. Yep. Then it would occlude stuff. I can just move those... Well, the transformer can be like this, that's okay. Oh, I cannot access the battery charger. Should I put it to the left bottom? Is that feasible? Not sure. I think so. Let's move it there. It spat that out? Oh, no, it has to, it's about to spit it out. Interesting. So, error must be stopped before it can export. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. So it realized I'm done doing this, so I have no more reason to run, so let's turn off. But oh wait, I have stuff within me, let's open up then. And that's what's happening now. Then it spits that out and closes again, and is ready for more business. Perfect, it seems to be complete. Cool. It should be possible. Is there no more power coming in? Oh! Oh, that was actually a relevant cable. I thought it's this cable here. Why is it not this cable here, actually? And where's that cable going, man? Oh, it goes there, but the thing is wired wrongly. Hilarious. That's the... No, that's the output side. What? What? I mean, didn't you just also... Oh no, maybe... Okay, maybe I'm just confused. I thought that this thing was indicating that it was being emptied. Maybe it was just charging the battery. Maybe that's really all that happened. And how to show the power available. Nothing. Or the power being used, I mean. Ow. Crap, that's not at all what I meant, man. Ah. Shit. Huh. Tricky. Yeah, okay, let's do the heavy cable first. Okay, 400 watts coming in, 7-ish mega, whatever the fucking unit is being used. Okay, apparently they're being discharged. Look at this. That's less than we had before. Okay. I need more wind turbines. That's just how it is. Can I print them? No, that was actually stupid. Very stupid. I wonder if this will even work. Motherfucker, I was printing shit. Why does it always have to crap out when someone changes a cable? What, you can connect them like this and the auto-rotate will... That is stupid. Which one was the red one? I believe it was like this. Batteries and power being consumed, 2 kilowatts. So, how about the plebble? Where is it? Transformer, where are you? Oh, here. Why does it look like everything else here? Could this be that this is a placeholder? I mean, these look almost exactly the same. Screenshot. Okay, so where's the switch? There's the switch. God damn, it's already 10 PM. I have to go work again tomorrow. I fucking hate that. I fucking hate. I hate it, and I also, in addition to that, hate it. Okay, so what connectors do we have? We have the power connector on the right side, that is a problem. And on the left side we have the logic. Or now we have on the left side the power, on the right side. Why is it a problem? Because that's where that cable is going. I mean, I can probably cable this up somewhere. Yeah. Curve. Okay, we can do that. It works. We can do that. Yep. Would you fucking print, you idiot? Nah, not quite. Is it connected? No. Is it connected? No. Is it connected? Yes. Okay. One step closer.
Hydration critical.
I mean, the station is coming along nicely. I'm glad this is not just another 3-episode, I make the glass box and move on to other things thing. Though last week it was a vacation, I'm actually surprised that this evening, Monday, when the vacation is over, I'm not completely nullified and squeezed dry and aimless and blah 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 blah. And don't do anything. Instead, I'm recording, I'm doing something. And it's even a continuation of last week. Yeah. And that, well, you know, after only like 5 hours of sleep, because this morning I woke up too fucking early. Okay, this guy needs to be connected to the front side here, somehow. That, though, is the back side. I cannot lay the cable in the ground, because I don't know what happens if I open this up. I mean, I can weld the frame in front, that would make it airtight, on this side, that side, this side, and this side. But what about the ground? Is that sufficient? Will that hold? I don't know. And then what would I do? There would be a cable going... I guess I would connect the logic from here to there. That would make sense. So I should maybe already prepare that as a statement for later. Like this. Then I need to connect the heavy cable. Nope, more like this. So I need to open both up. That's wild. How many? 5! Oh, 5 is good. 5 is one too few. Let's make another one. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have enough power after this one. Yeah, any moment now it would be time to mine again, I guess, and then I would have to also actually in fact do that. What is the clock saying? Ah, we still have quite some time. Once I am basically looking along the side, the surface of these guys, then it's relatively close to morning, to sun coming out behind Jupiter. So, since we have power problems, the first thing to do is to solve that, which requires steel frames and steel sheets. Flat walls, one. Channel change, because it's a bit too much on the wicked side. Immediately 2 more turbines active. And now let's add some more. Oh, I need... Oh, okay. This too is too wickety-wick. Speaking of which, okay, this one is more straightforward, but not for us right now, I would say. Neither is this. What? Oh right, I made... I forgot I had explicitly made one extra. So that we have the right amount. Zero, 1, 2, 0. Are they all indeed connected? Because that would be awkward if not. Yeah, looking good. Going back in. So how much power is coming in right now? Ah. Okay, it's possible, but god damn it. Why does it have to always be sucky? Because I'm doing it wrong. This guy could be up here and... Oh no, that wouldn't work. That would not work at all. Shit! It would be so nice if that would work out here, but it doesn't. Okay, let's just pretend as if we had a different intention from the get-go, and no one will be the wiser. There's no recording of it after all. So that's being consumed. 1100 watts was coming in, 1200 watts. And they are not quite stepping on the gas, so yeah. Next step would be... maybe I should already check that all my devices here are charged, because I would rather, when I go mining, have a bunch of extra batteries with me for no good reason. No good reason indeed, because I never needed this in recent mining runs. Three and a half thousand watts. Ah, okay, it's day. The sun is here. And so we have to go. I mean, it's not urgent, but yeah, let's use the day. So is everything full? What about the tablet? Yeah, full-ish. This shit is not to be carried with me, you, or anyone. Anyone? Cable analyzer, electricity locker. Oh, electricity, you say? Didn't we have a color code for that? I remember loosely. Guess this stuff will have to move soon, huh? Empty. Empty. Too bad I can't turn off the lights during the day, because I didn't install a switch. This is a special light. Yeah, but these ones aren't, so I can't just hope that it will work out. Crap. Ah, let's leave it lit then, whatever. Suffer later. What about the batteries over here? Is some power coming in now? I think we're ready for mining, aren't we? Yep, power's coming in. And how empty was this guy? Hard to say, wanna know. %, so let's say it was at 50 maybe. Do I have everything? Oh no, my personal power is still low. Oh shit, that's not the right answer. Curse it. Curse it, curse it. Oxygen. Enough. By the way, are the plants fine? Oh, cooling system is kicking in. There's currently some gas in there, which is being cooled down as fuck, thus the station is cooled down. And once that coolness reaches this sensor, this will be emptied again. So, nitrogen and CO2, and the pressure is fine, the temperature is fine, let's go. Yeah, I will go where I always went, because why not? There's still enough stuff to mine. I will not mine iron because for whatever reason. And what we need though is copper, and more gold would be nice, I guess. And then all the other less common stuff. Look down there. In that little box was the landing pod which I had accidentally tossed down the hill. And then one day after a storm it was gone. I don't understand why. You might say, yeah, because it didn't suck the thing dry, but I did. There was vacuum in there. Vacuum. It shouldn't have been affected by the storm. So yeah, no idea what's going on. I have tons of lead, no thanks. Gold. I'm pretty sure I didn't use any of the coal I made a mistake just now when I left the station for mining, because normally I would check my backpacks to see which resource is low, and then I would have put that respective backpack into my into this here, and then I would have mined particularly for that stuff. And in the previous mining run, previous episode, there I did that, and that worked very nicely. And if I wouldn't have wasted so much time on some other things, I think on that mining run, then I would possibly even have been able to fill all the backpacks, all three of them, the two ones you see right now, and actually it was two that I had with me, that would have been four then. It was coal and copper, and I got a bunch of copper. Yeah, but anyway, the fact that I need to drink soon again, ridiculous really, drove me back, so I couldn't make use of the time. Couldn't make use of the space. Nickel. Yeah, copper. Copper is even better. A rarity. I mean, not really. It's just a rarity in my station. Except if I would toss the entire station into a recycler, then I would get a pile of copper that's greater than the station is right now. So I said, I mean, ultimately mankind will achieve whatever it wants to achieve. Now, this where are really the limits of our will? I mean, you might just not be interested in this concept because you might not believe that ultimately the limits are really just will itself. But they are. Anyway, let's just think then, what if that were so? Huh? Okay, I will say that's definitely so, and you will say, okay, what if that were so? What is that we want to do then? I mean, one thing interesting is that if you could, for example, rewrite the rules of the universe, then we would choose not to do that, because the rules are good the way they are. They are optimal, because they are what allows atoms to emerge, fundamental particles, etc. So we wouldn't do that. In other words, you could say the universe is already configured the way we want it. Question is that our will, or is it just compatible with our will? Anyway, so what I am convinced will happen that we will have games like shooters and such, which will utilize stationeers like atmospherics, maybe not on this particular level, but in principle, so that when there's a firefight with lasers and such, that would heat up the room in which that is taking place, and the people in the room would have to consider that, and if it gets hotter and hotter, then you would have to leave, or things could start catching fire, or you could possibly just shoot things on fire. So someone hiding nearby would have to leave their hidey hole, stuff like that, you know? Or maybe you can shoot out a window and the vacuum gets to the guys which don't have a breathing apparatus. Or maybe you are entering, maybe there's some pipe that broke, so it's poisonous. I mean, we have that in Doom 3, which I've played so many times through the entire game. It's so great. It's such a great game, really. Because for what it is, it gets everything right. I mean, it's possibly hyperbole, but it gets so many things right for what it is. It's such a great composition of things. Anyway, and there's a room where there are some toxic waste containers, which you then have to move with a crane, remote controlled, toss those into an opening, and then for whatever reasoning, despite the opening still being an opening, the room is then afterwards no longer toxic. But anyway, that would be something that could then nicely be implemented with atmospherics, and maybe with various ways. Maybe you could indeed place an active vent and pump stuff and place some pipes or whatever. It would also be cool, this general approach of being able to have a modular reality when for example, there has been a firefight or an explosion or whatever, and this has then destroyed some stuff. Before you can move on to the next section of the game, you first have to make sure that reality works again. So you have to install some pipes and this and that, whatever. This could also immediately quickly become boring because it could become repetitive. However, that would then mostly be the case because the machinery, the apparatus that you're confronted with, that you would have to fix, because that would be repetitive. But that's interesting. A Stationeers simulation basically began, based on Space Station 13, but it began with the idea of having things that work together. But if we would make such a game, then this would emerge from the concept of not things that work together, but things that are interesting to puzzle together so that they work again, which is a slightly different approach and would then thus be inspiring and possibly then yield interesting devices, and then maybe it can ultimately be balanced so that it's actually reasonably working, and then we would have an entirely different beast to deal with. So I'm convinced that we will have games where things are a bit more modular than they are right now, in, like, for example, the classic Deus Ex, which at some point I plan to remake. It's interesting that currently there's actually a Deus Ex remake coming out, not from Night Dive Studio, but from some other studio, and I've already heard complaints. But I mean, if you haven't heard of that yet, I think we should keep an open mind, because certainly there is a bias going on. Also, when I say I want to remake Deus Ex, not just the question how the fuck, there's the intellectual property right, and you don't have the resources. Who are you even, and so forth. But also, just because, I mean, don't touch that with a 10-foot pole. It is good like it is. Don't remake that. I mean, we already have Revision, though Revision is kind of a counter example, right? Revision shows us that it can be done in a way that is true to the original, yet it adds to the original, and we are thankful that it exists. So that's actually a good example that this can be done. But I'm thinking about a remake on quality like Cyberpunk 2077, but then also with some modularity like Minecraft or Stationeers has it, so that you can actually possibly hack something by opening some compartment with cables, or so you could possibly build some contraption, or that could actually then also be one of your tasks somewhere. I mean, it doesn't quite fit with... I mean, what is this guy even, this augmented dude? I mean, he's basically primarily a fighter. Is he? Well, hacking, fighting, physical strength, not so relevant in all the games that came after Deus Ex 1 and Deus Ex Invisible War and Deus Ex The Fall. Deus Ex The Fall was actually not that bad for people who really craved to get more Deus Ex flavor. The only problem was that, I mean, it was very short, so I mean, when it ended I thought, okay, this is the end. Yeah, it was it was basically the precursor to Deus Ex Mankind Divided. The Human Revolution was the first New Age Deus Ex, and Mankind Divided was the second one, which divided mankind indeed. Some liked it, and some, like me, disliked that it just ended like right in the middle, just when you thought they would continue. And that's what Deus Ex The Fall also does. So the main problem with that was really that the field of view was so very low. But by now, and I wanted actually to do a replay of that at some point in my life, by now there are ways now to adjust the field of view. I mean, you also have to always Google a game's name, or use another search engine if you will, and then use the characters PCG PCGW, PC Gaming Wiki, PCGW. And then you will find the most probably existing PC Gaming Wiki page of that. And on that page, then you will find, for example, is the field of view adjustable? If not, how can it be adjusted? Are there some hacks? And then there will be a link to borderless gaming or widescreen gaming and stuff like that. So yeah, that's, I mean, if you didn't know that yet, it is part of the infrastructure of gaming like Steam itself is. Not on that level necessarily, but conceptually. Like, if you're gaming, then you should know of that site. So my main focus should be on copper and silicon, and I can see silicon right there. Don't be silly. So yeah, there's a Deus Ex remake coming out at some point later this year maybe, or maybe in the beginning of next, I don't know, which will have some more high-res textures and such, but some other stuff is still low-res, so it's not really a remake, it's a refurbishing, like Night Dive Studios would do it, but this one doesn't seem to be, well, quite on that level, so yeah. Also, not everything Night Dive Studios has done when it comes to refurbishing games is really great. But at least they did something like GOG would do it, that you can, for example, play on a modern machine, Blood, which I purchased recently, and stuff like that. I live again. Yeah, so there's certainly reason to say no, that's not good enough, because some textures in the screenshots that we have seen, there's some thread on Steam somewhere, were not quite better really in part, and also because they're touching that thing. Don't touch that unless you use the right gloves, man. And that's what I intend to do. I intend to wear the right gloves when I fucking touch that. And currently I don't have the resources to do that, but I mean, I have very, 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 very long-term plans for my life, and I'm pursuing them. And I've been doing that for 20 years. That's also the time, actually 24 years. That's actually the time frame, 20 years is, no wait, yeah, 24 years is the pursuit time, and 20 years is the time that I have actually been doing intermittent fasting, meaning that I'm basically eating less, I mean eating the same amount basically, but eating more rarely, and I'm eating only once a day. And that's also when I drink. So I have a period of 23 hours actually where I'm not eating anything, nothing whatsoever. I only have my breakfast in the afternoon. And that's also when I drink. That though takes more time because I don't gulp down 2 liters of water in one moment. That's stupid. So I spread that over the rest of the evening. I mean, I'm trying to express that if I'm saying to you that I am pursuing very long-term plans, then you can believe that, because that, for example, speaks of someone who can pursue certain things with consistency, and that stuff, that these long-term plans are even related, though I cannot explain to you why. Not that I can't explain it, but I cannot tell it to you. It's not yet the time. What do you mean? I cannot tell you that either, for the same reason. And then the resources will be available to do that which I said I wanted to do. I have enough silver. This is a gold mine. Yeah, and that remake or that revamped version, that will cost you again like $30 or $40. I don't know how much exactly. And I mean, you get revision for free. So I'm not sure what they're really pursuing there, but it is not yet finished. I think it's not yet out, so I'm not sure, but I think it's not yet out. So there's still room for improvement, I assume. I hope it will be worthy. Or else.
Jetpack low.
Oh, that's the thing now? I don't need to bring more water. Shut the fuck up. How did I even start with the topic of Deus Ex? Yeah, because I said there should be basically more flexibility. I mean, for example, I have on my Trello, where there are lots of plans that I have for doing stuff with Stationeers, an entry that is one that I'm not intending to pursue right away, maybe never, but I would like to try to rebuild Hell's Kitchen in Stationeers. To try to give some kind of impression of what that could be like if it would be a modular world with atmospherics and such. And I think Hell's Kitchen is kind of iconic. And maybe that's a stupid idea, but anyway. There's a research. Copper is really the most pressing thing. Gold is welcome, but copper is needed. So you can bet your ass that we will have that in the future. See, Stationeers uses a lot of multi-threading. I do have to explain now what that is. Well, let's just say you have a computer on your table which can only run one thread, which is not telling you much, I know. So you have an old computer on your desk and you have another old computer on your desk, so you have now just doubled your processing power. Basically, yeah. And that's kind of what one computer can do with a chip with a processor that can run two threads. In the same way, you have to consider them in almost the same way. You have to consider them completely separate machines. Therefore, when they access memory together, then special precautions have to be taken so that they even see what the other thread has been written there and so forth. And there might also be race conditions, like when you say, hey, let's read this memory cell so that I can increment it. So let's read it. Now I know it's 15. And then I'm incrementing it so that it is 16, and now I'm writing the 16 into that memory cell. But lo and behold, during that time the other thread has also read that memory cell, maybe for the same purpose, or maybe for a different purpose, but anyway, if it's for the same purpose, then it will now also count up and write a value in there, but they are basically cancelling each other out. They have to be synchronized when they're doing this kind of interaction. And that's all stuff that has to be considered with multi-threading, which can get very complex, but the basic stuff is actually not that hard. I mean, I came originally on PC, I came from Visual Basic 6, which was pretty much a crap language, but, you know, for the time being, we were thankful that we had it. And it didn't have multi-threading. And at some point I thought, hey, I could implement multi-threading by creating an executable from this and running it, and creating another executable from this and running it, and let them communicate their state if that ever needs to be done via file exchange. Anyway, I didn't do that because it's stupid. But, well, then Java came along, which is still my go-to language, and so then I came in contact with multi-threading, and that's a very cool thing. And then I realized how easy that is to actually create a new thread and run it, and the synchronization that needs to take place when you exchange data is actually also not so complicated. I mean, depending on what you want to do, the scenario can become very complex, and then you can get the very ugly thing of deadlocks. Not so easy to debug. When one thread is trying to synchronize with another, but a third one is also interfering, and so they can basically eternally wait on each other, and then the program has, well, hard locked, basically. That would be, I think, a hard lock. When,
Jetpack critical.
oh, motherfucker. When instead, when you're in a game, for example, and somehow you drop the key through the floor, but that was the only key that gets you to the next stage, that's a soft lock. I think that's the terminology. Coal? No, it's not coal. That's not coal! That is coal. Very coal. My name is Nat King Cole. I am a singer and I'm really good at it. Oh no, now I'm dead, too bad. But they're recordings at least. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Oops. Why do these melt in the sun, man? They shouldn't. It's minus 100 motherfucking degrees. I mean, do they? Do they melt? Let's see. Ugh. Apparently they don't. Okay. So, multi-threading, and the amount of extra hardware threads that a computer can run, so they're actual threads and not just task switching. I mean, the computer, even whether it has multi-threading built in hardware-wise or not, will still, of course, use time slicing. That's exactly what you have, well, that's metaphorically exactly what you have when you're creating a film. Because you're not ever you don't have moving pictures, of course, it's just the pretense of motion, because it's switching so quickly that you don't realize. That's exactly what's happening in the computer. It's executing this task a little, that task a little, and that task over there a little, and you cannot notice that it's really just jittering about, you know? Anyway, the amount of hardware threads these days is higher than it was 5 years ago, is higher than it was 10 years ago, and so forth. Therefore, I assume that the more in the future we progress, the more threads on average we will have available on the hardware level. Stationeers benefits a lot from multi-threading, from hardware multi-threading. I mean, software multi-threading is really just time slicing, and therefore you don't get more performance out of your hardware, and therefore actually implementing that as a multi-threaded solution is not helpful at all. With one exception, because if it doesn't know on which hardware it will run, and then therefore it ends up possibly on a processor that has only a few hardware threads, and so then this will be implemented by the hardware via time slicing, so that the great software solution that Stationeers, that the Rocketworks team implemented of actual multi-threading, which was very hard to do for this, that this is basically nullified. Well, you cannot know that in advance. But if you have a machine that can run multiple threads, then this will benefit greatly, and that's why they implemented it like this. Because Stationeers has so many things that it has to calculate and think about. Future machines will have more threads on average. I think that's just a statement of fact. Why should that not be the case? I mean, at some point in the very far future, we're going to have 128-bit machines. That's a given. That's a given. Of course. Anyway, that's a different topic, I know. I'm just saying that all fronts will eventually be bigger. You will have more RAM. You will have more. And it will be faster, blah, blah, blah. And so, if assuming that in the future we will have games that will be shooters and such, which we already have, but then also implementing something like atmospherics, you might think, oh no, that costs precious cycles. Well, I mean, again, the question of luxury. I don't know what I should call this, the luxury threshold? But I mean, if you have... I don't know what... I always have this following fallback example, and those who have heard it from me might think I'm a one-track mind or a broken record or whatever, but it's just a very good example, and currently I am obviously dealing with 5.5 threads simultaneously of thinking and doing that I have to... So I can only fall back to the broad basics that have been implemented with broad big strokes in my neural network instead of being able to peruse the fractal details. So, the example is that I have to go back soon. The example is of having to survive, having to pay for your home, for your house, for your apartment. You need a certain minimum amount of money to have a reasonable sized place to live in, and to have a warm shower whenever you need it, and some heating for when it's cold in winter, stuff like that, you know? And that requires a certain amount of money. But these things are something that you need. You need the shower, you need the radiator, you need all of that you need. But once all those needs are met, so once we have a good shooter with good graphics, which are very realistic seeming, and the trees sway in the wind, and the foes are very intelligent, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Once we have all that, what do we do with all the rest of the cycles? I know someone will find ways to waste them. I know, of course, but the pressure of using them for more stuff that are not atmospherics will be lower and lower and lower. So interestingly, the lower the pressure, the more we can think about pressure simulation. And why should that be done? I just pointed it out to you. I mean, we have fun in Stationeers due to the atmospherics, and also this example with the, what other things could there be in a shooter? For example, this is also something I've used as an example before. What if there is a guard smoking a cigarette around the corner, and you can smell that there's someone there? I mean, that's something that's missing from games. For example, when in Deus Ex you step in the sewage, that's currently something that no one gives a fuck about. But unless you hide behind a dumpster up there, where there's someone who you want to sneak past, if you have been down there in the sewers and haven't kind of washed yourself or whatever, they should take note. They should wonder, hey, what is the smell? And that's something that I believe will also come. Or let's just say it will come, because it's cool. It gives another dimension. Is not stealth gameplay something that eventually came in and enriched our gameplay greatly? Well, that is an advanced level of stealth. And also simulates or emulates or whatever another level of senses. We only have visual and sight and sound. That we get from... Oh, what's happening? From our computer, but we can do so much more with it. For example, in Stationeers, we are currently suffering the absence of water. Or food, maybe. You know, if it would be food, the stomach could make some gurgly sound, like you're really hungry. but instead we just get this generic standard placeholder pain expression that makes sense when you actually have some breathing problems, and that was obviously the first thing that they had implemented. And then though they just use that same thing for all other kinds of pain expressions or other kinds of urgent bodily need expressions. When the fuck will that change, goddammit? When? This is so primary, man, the primary experience. Made a video about that, I keep saying it a while ago. Primex, Google, look for it, Primex, where I simulated what happens when you open your helmet on the moon in a vacuum, what that should feel like. And on Europa, where it's super cold, or on Valkyrie, where your face melts. That kind of stuff is missing, man. We need more of that. Oh. Battery is empty. Oh. No more jetpack. A wild comment emerges. Oh. Lol. Someone commented something in Russian. On the newest video, I guess, maybe? Let's see which one it is. I don't know. Okay, let's translate that. Deeper. Will you load this shit? Paste. The translation is... Yeah, great, you translated that from English, you idiot. That is not English, that's Ukrainian or Russian. Let's see, Russian. Herzlichen Glückwunsch! Or congratulations. For what? Oh, right, okay, that's for that post where I said that I have 3,000 subscribers. Which are now 3,000 and actually some more already. I was surprised how fast this is growing. 3,030 already.
Hunger caution.
Yeah, so there could be much more primary experience thingies in here, and you can certainly do that also for smells. And I mean, for example, what if, I think some games probably already did this, maybe Project Zomboid possibly, which I played very, very little because it's so complex, not to say complicated. Now I'm playing Stationeers. But it's also, I mean, this I can always get behind a first-person 3D game easily. But that is third person and you basically die all the time. Right, it's always, you definitely die. It's not a project to succeed in, it's just, I mean, it's what I heard, I don't know.
Health low.
Yep, getting home. Going home. Yeah, possibly already did this, which is why not just show some graphics on screen. For example, if there's some kind of acid burn or whatever, then there would be some graphics that show that flashing up for a short moment, so getting in your face and instilling some kind of primary emotion within you, some kind of body horror emotion. Of course that should be maybe turn-offable, or the game should be for age 18. Now you might say, well, that would then not sell very well. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm thinking very long term. But no, very long term has the same problem. Does it? Does it? Does it really? We have, I mean, you have to realize, originally we had only, well, people who played the guitar, the piano, and the violin or whatever, but no one ever heard of them because there was no one really pushing for them to be heard. Basically some rich kids were heard, or someone with the right, or some people who were discovered. And then ultimately production, a studio was necessary for proper production. I mean, these days anyone can do that at home with their PC. Actually also even on that level, if you do a fully digital production. I mean, there's some things that you cannot reasonably do. I guess I'm not really up to speed with that. I mean, I have actually some audio equipment here that I haven't been using in years because I was also making music, I mean, with hardware synthesizers and such for a few years with friends. But I'm saying that the workflow alone that you get with hardware is different and better. And also, I mean, what about singing? You would need a good microphone setup. I mean, a better one that I have here. And maybe a room that is suitable for that. That's about... But anyway, most of the things can be done now just with your PC at home. And with that, I'm trying to express that a general trend. The general trend is that what was pioneers' work at the beginning is now becoming more accessible, more broadly available. So first, someone had to climb the mountain, and then more people had climbed the mountain, and then at some point the mountain became the plain, and then eventually even the valley. And that is how it keeps going with all things. And that's why I believe why the original System Shock and System Shock 2 are so magical and so important. Because they were pioneers' work. The true meaning of that work is still within our experience of it somehow. Because it's in that entire design everywhere. The necessities, the shortcuts, the decisions made, the daring, and so forth, you know? It was the first game where I was saying, this feels like an interface to a virtual reality. Now this is completely normal to us. I mean, this is a virtual reality, goddammit. But for a while it wasn't. But now we also have indie games, a bunch of them. This is not technically an indie game because, I mean, Rocketworks was founded by Dean Hall, the CEO.
Warning, leaving mission area.
And let's check if I'm still in the right direction. I think so. The station should be over there. It's not. It's over there. Okay. Let's change the music. No, it's too wild. Yeah, so Dean Hall, at some point, I don't know how many games he had made, but at some point he decided to mod the game Arma 3, or was it Arma 2? I think originally it was Arma 2 that he modded, and created then a zombie survival game, because he's totally into survival game. By the way, he is, I believe, I don't want to misinform people, but I think he's kind of a militarily minded person who came from there and has some background that is possibly relevant there. I'm not sure. Anyway, so he's very much into survival games. See also Stationeers, and then made the mod for Arma, which is called DayZ. DayZ, you know? Day of Zombie Apocalypse. And that was super successful. And so eventually he sold that to Bohemia Interactive, who were, I believe, the owners of the Arma franchise, and then they turned that into, I don't know how much they did with that after that, actually. Why do I not yet see the station, man? I would like to fly, but I can't. God damn it, I should have just kept the tracker cartridge. What? 300 meters that direction. You are shitting me. What am I doing with the drill? Yeah, that made him millions, and with that he founded the the Rocketworks studio in New Zealand, which have two studios, I believe, actually. So for once, the fancification of the word studio, which everybody uses, even if it's just the back room, like mother's in the kitchen, you're in the living room. Studios, right? The plural is actually correct here, because I believe they have two places. Ah, there we go. Okay. And I don't know how it continued from there. Probably then this survival game emerged, and then also Icarus. And Icarus is the big money maker there, which also cross-finances Stationeers, which is not making, well, it's not paying for itself. Of course, it's making money. People are buying it. And if anyone is copying this and just using it, and you could afford to buy it, but you still keep using it without buying, you are an asshole. I can say that in the name of the entire community.
Hunger critical.
But I'm not saying it with that kind of conviction. As in, I would say that by myself, just straight up, you are an asshole. Don't fucking do that. If you have copied that and are playing this without paying, when you're basically monetarily short, then I would personally see that differently. I don't want to give you the green light, it's not my place to do. By the way, Rocket himself, I mean the nickname of Dean Hall is Rocket, that's why it's called Rocketworks, said that if people want to demo the game, they should just copy it, there's no DRM. But of course that it does not mean that he's okay with people just pirating it. That's not what it is, that's not the idea. It would become pirating the moment you actually use it for its intended purpose, other than demoing, and then not pay for it even though you could. Or maybe if you couldn't even see, that's the zone where I have to shut the fuck up because it's not my place. Alright, let's save ourselves from death, I guess.
Hunger caution.
Okay, before I do any timey wasty stuff, let's save and let's check out what's going on in the battery room here. The battery is still not charged? Are you fucking shitting me? What? Why are they empty? I saw them charge up, man.
Temperature low.
Yeah.
Temperature critical.
I mean, I have turned off the deep mining facility, which is really the great power monster here. There, it's off. They have not turned with the sun? Oh, dude, of course, wait. Oh. Oh, oh, okay, I can now see when the power ran out. That's where they are positioned. And then I looked at them and, oh, the morning is still on a time away. No, man, that's not what happened, man. Ah, an entire day wasted. But I guess this is my cue, right? I mean, I wanted to pipe over some power. And that's also why you normally should have some kind of repositioning logic in there, which I sometimes do, and this time I lazily did not. Like, the sun is now below the horizon, okay, then just point towards the point, to the place when you first had the... I mean, towards the morning, basically, you know? Dude, do we have a power problem here? Basically, you could call it power struggle. Okay. How can we go about this? I first need some heavy cables, because I need a lot of heavy cables. Heavy cables. How about these batteries? Ah, they are filling up. Okay, so at least there's that. How are we looking? Yeah, it's kind of balanced. Then let's fill up the batteries, else I will have a real emergency. Emergency. But it's fun. I mean, not everything is happening to plan. Reload! Why? I'm having fun. And that's why I fucking play this shit. What? Oh! I think I just observed a brownout. We have a brownout. We are using more power than we actually have available here. Dude. Maybe I should make this logic room its own network, because, I mean, the logic room, it controls what happens. This thing defines reality. I mean, if these guys, for example, would not be running off of that power, but would be independent here, that would be better, you know, wind power is always available. Does it work though? The power of this room, well, if it's, as long as it's just the power? I mean, I could place a battery here, and then I can program from here, basically. No, that's shit. This locker here seems slightly superfluous. Maybe I could put a battery down here and a locker above this. That could be reasonable. Let's remind myself of that by putting the locker like this. So we have brownouts. Not good. Yeah, and every time it has a brownout, we get half, here, 1 grams of gold or something. Hilarious. And the production stops, yeah. I mean, it's cool that we're experiencing this, no? It's good that this happens. Not that I particularly enjoy not having any power, but we'll live. Yeah, the cooling system too. I mean, what if I don't have any power to stop the cooling? I mean, to pump this back so that the cooling is stopped. Hey, what's happening? Why is this not stopping? What is happening? Oh, I guess we just don't have any power for the logic? No, I don't get it. Wait. No, that's not the reason. Why is this not stopping? Dude, what the fuck is happening here? Pause. Why is the pump not being turned off? Cooling pump. What's the time, by the way? Oh, it's already 11 PM. I have to stop. Well, at least the work is cut out for the next episode, right? Get the power over to the other part of the station, boot up the solar panels, takes in some more light from the sun before the day is over. If that can be done, I don't think so, because cable laying takes some time. And so forth and so on. Yep. Stationeers. Turbo pump cooling mode 1 to the left, in other words to the right, because, you know, it's kind of swapped. Where I have placed it. And yeah, that's emptying it, but this one is filling, and this one is turning on based upon R0, and R0 is the can storage, this cooling thing. So, and what is that? That is R0. What is R0? How do we get here? Station too hot. Okay, here I'm saying load the temperature of the greenhouse. There's something very wrong here. So if the station is too hot, we jump down here, and then we replace R0. So that's fine. If the station is not too hot, then we check, is the station too cold? Then, if the station is not too cold, we just jump down here and do nothing. Oh, that might actually be the problem. Maybe we're just between here and this doesn't turn off the pump. Oh yeah, of course. Let's remove this line, which saved actually some power. What? I didn't write the source code yet. Yeah, so that's a stupid programming mistake that I made there. This one line made sure that the pump doesn't unnecessarily turn on. The thing is, if it is already on, then it will not turn off. But if that's the explicit problem that I have, maybe then I can do something else here. I can write into... so if R0 is greater than 22, then R0 will be 1. And here I can just say if R0 is greater than 1, okay, let's see, if the temperature is greater than 22, then we want greater than 0, then we want to jump to station cooling done. Else, what would happen is that if it is not greater than 22, then we end up here. And that means that we turn off the pump. That we pump the stuff back. So it's not pumping back and forth the whole time. But if the pump is already on, and I don't know, I guess that is something that can normally not occur, and it was only the unfortunate brownout timing that made it possible, I guess. I don't know, whatever. So what is it that I want? This jump to cooling done must not happen while the pump is on. If the pump is already on, then this jump must not happen. So I will load whether the pump is on into register R1, load batch named into R1, turbo pump turbo cooling on, sum, and if the pump is on, then this is a 1. And if the pump is on, I don't want to skip over this. So basically XOR? No, XOR is not true. If this is 1, then this must become 0. That's what it is. So let's say if this is 0, then this must become 0. We can just flip this here. 6. Good way to remember that. If this one is equal to 0, then this is true, or 1. And if this is not equal to 0, then it's 1, then it will become 0. So we are flipping this. So whenever the turbo pump is on, as in whenever the turbo pump is 0, then we want to set this one to 0. So we can just AND into register R0, the combination of R0 and R1. So if R0 was already 1, as in it would now skip down here instead of turning on or off the pump, then it will now suffer the fate of becoming 0 because the turbo pump is currently on, which means that this one is 0, and so whenever the turbo pump is on, this AND here will make sure that this one cannot stay 1. That should solve the problem that we just suffered there. I'm not sure though, because I'm not sure if that was the actual problem. Okay, next step then. I'm not sure actually. Brownout. Yeah, I would have to weld that stuff out there, which is of course iron. So I can open up the boxes on the inside in hopes that this will be actually airtight, which it doesn't have to be, so we have to check that. And I would like to have some more space in my inventory, but is that really the wisest approach to do it like this? Now that I have brownouts? So what happens if I open up this floor? I should have my welding torch very ready, because I need it. Oh! Okay, looking good. Okay. Wait, this logic thing is supposed to go, maybe I should, well, if I use the drill here, that might be catastrophic. Let's use the drill here. Where's the drill? It's stable. It's stable. Ah, so now it can work. I'm pretty sure that power... Okay, I have to first get some jetpack going here. I'm pretty sure that power was on this side. Didn't it say that even? Oh, we can see it from here. Input. That would be power, yep. Motherfucker. Oh. Okay. Now the transformer has some input. Don't tell me I can't get out of this one now. That would have sucked so hard. Okay, let's get some fresh oxygen.
Air tank critical.
And then this logic connector needs to go to the back side of this guy. And I'm actually not sure. What about the other connector? Can we see that from here? There. Connection data. Wow, this is very wild to do it like this. Oh. That cable is of course in the fucking way. Huh. Yeah, but it can be solved. It's even more wild than I thought it would be, but it can be done. So let's start here. Where's that cable? Ah, there it is. Yeah, pro tip, you can point at the cable or at the pipe or whatever at the very edge, and then you should get a hover image. Yep. Okay, this should be the logic connection, and the front then has to go through the roof. Let's weld this up quickly because it doesn't feel right at all. What's happening? Oh. Dude! What now? I cannot just let the air into the thing up there. I mean, I could, but then I would have to pump it empty again. For which I have the equipment, so that's not the problem. Do I really want to pipe a cable through that thing up there? Well, it's not the dumbest idea, but they... Crap, man, really. But this is so fucked up. Oh, I didn't mean that. I meant this. My god, I'm melting all the gold. With whatever power I believe to have. The sun is already so low, I will not benefit from what I'm doing here today. It's just not possible, it's too much. Oh, it doesn't always work. I should already turn the transformer on so that we can immediately benefit if the cable is connected before the sun goes down, because I seem to make good progress. So turn on and turn to the maximum that we can set, which is 50,000. Hopefully the station survives that, because it's wild what I'm doing there. But I guess so, it seems logical. What am I doing? So how exactly do we continue from here? Oh, we continue further. That's definitely the case. And then what? Well, one more. This is just an airlock. And then what? Then we have to get to the station batteries from behind, and there are multiple ways to do that. And I believe the main input of this is here, and it would make sense to share that because that speaks, you know. Meanwhile, I keep farting out pure, beautiful oxygen, which is, of course, around me too, but the stuff around me is cold, and the stuff I brought is already warmed up. And station 1. Huh. So currently the batteries are all dark. Let's see what happens now. Yeah, it's working. We're transferring energy, and this should mean that they are now turning. They are now turning. So let's see how much power will be coming in. Though, that doesn't really count, does it? The power that's coming is from the station right now. Okay, 3,500 watts are coming in from the solar panel park, because 50,000 watts are coming from the main station. And I should go over there and make sure that it doesn't run dry, because that's not a good thing. Cool, that was relatively quick. Yeah, could be sucking these dry as fuck. The power being used here is... Oh, I cannot even see that. It's a different cable network. Excuse me. Yeah, that wouldn't be... that wouldn't work. Yeah, okay, enough of this. I need my power myself. There's no good way to do this, is there? Other than just doing this, and that's really fugly. Wait, what? Oh, that's now I'm measuring what's going into the battery room. I can now measure what's going into the battery room from here. Not bad. Not bad at all. 2000 watts. And as the sun goes down, that will go down too. Fewer and fewer watts. Not less watts, fewer. It's countable. Huh? Less, fewer. Yeah, and how can I measure what's going over there? Well, I know what's going over there. It's the amount written here. Or is that not necessarily true? What if the batteries over there are kind of full? That's also not the dumbest thing to know. But, I mean, there's no space here. What I could do is I could do away with these chargers and put them somewhere else. Here, for example. And, though they are nicely fitting here. And here there could be the power central, where I can see all the individual cable thingy situations. That sounds good. But what also sounds good is if I go to bed now, because it's fucking late, motherfucker. So, while the sun goes down... It's interesting, huh? I mean, I started this episode with the sun going down, with the sun being at the horizon. So... Was that just 200 minutes? I mean, how long is this video by now? Let's see. 3 hours, 38 minutes. 200 minutes is a little bit more than 3 hours, yeah. Yeah, that actually fits. 3 hours, 180 minutes. 200 minutes is 20 minutes more, so that would be 4 hours, 20 minutes. Makes sense.
Hydration critical.
Wow. I mean, it was a pretty round episode, man. Cool. I hope it will find appreciation. I mean, not like, hey, upvote, like and subscribe. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I hope that the algorithm will make sure that enough people get the option to see it. You know, aka view count going up. Because I would feel it wasted if this wouldn't happen. This one is a good one. I mean, this stuff over here alone already worth the price of admission, which is your time. And by the way, this stuff has been solved, hasn't it? Well, that would be fitting to close by closing this up. Oh, I have to cable this up first. Huh. Do I still have lights? I had 10 lights. There are some lights, yeah. Huh, I have a nice idea. I just don't know if that will go over with, well, I'm not gonna spoil it. What did you do? I was the cold and I got this. That was stupid, man. Yes, Eliza. Yeah. Turn on. Cable up. Cool. That is what it looks like now. Yeah, the floor could be decorated. And no one would suspect that in there we have the recycling station. I could put a sign up there, I think. And here it spits out when it's done. Need some more lights on this side. Yeah, later. So we're basically ending this where we started, huh? Except now the room below me looks a bit different and it's bigger. Safe. I will stay on with the camera for a bit longer, but otherwise I'm out. See you again next time.
Hunger caution.